This broadcast is brought to you by Kia. Kia's Getting a Ute, the Kia Tasman, and the West Coast Eagles, foundation partner of the WAFLW.
A very good afternoon and welcome to the world-class venue that is Optus Stadium this afternoon. The women's state game, it is the WAFLW side, Western Australia, taking on the SANFLW women's team here for 2024. Matt Chetchin's about to be joined in commentary by Dan Hobley, and our special comments today all the way over from the City of Churches in Adrian Davies as we have a look at the live pictures, people starting to fill in the game, the curtain raise up. But it is all about the women today and an historic game today. Dan Hobley, my co-commentator, very good afternoon.
Matty, a very good afternoon to you, mate. AD will obviously touch on, bring her into it in a moment's time, but conditions absolutely sensational for football. Look, it's two state sides that are going to really go at it, hammer and tong, and there's just such a flavour, isn't there, for Western Australia and South Australia to go head-to-head in the men's and the women's, so it's great to see the opportunity for these women to ply their trade.
And just having a look quickly at the forecast today, just partly cloudy here in Western Australia, 20 degrees, dropping to just 19, so perfect for football. Very light wind, won't favour either end of the ground. So we're across the WA front, Dan, but we've got an expert that's flown all the way over first class. Adrian Davies, one of the superstars of the Redlegs in Norwood. Very good afternoon to you.
It's great to be over here, and I did actually get a seat at the front of the plane as the players all walked past, which was nice for me, not for them.
And you're going to be running your eye over South Australia today. Interesting lineup, packed full of midfielders, and we'll get to some of those in a moment, but maybe lacking some key forwards. Yes,
as a key forward, yeah, I'd love to be out there, but the midfield is so stacked across the SANFLW that we had to find a spot for them all, because it is a star-studded lineup for us, I think.
So WA is going to have their hands full, would you say, AD? Jessica Bates from Glenelg, first in disposal, first in tackles. She's laid 102 tackles in 8 games. Yeah,
she set the record a few weeks back with 23 tackles in a game. She's a genuine star. We say it every week on commentary in Adelaide that she should be on an AFLW list. So hopefully there's a few recruiters out here looking for a few little list spots to fill in the upcoming months.
I would like to touch on, obviously, Sam Francis. Franson, I should say, state captain, been named during the week. Captain Elg is my understanding. You know, what leader is she going to be into today's performance, you would think?
Well, across the comp, the SANFLW girls really know each other well. Sam Franson's been around for a few years, and the girls really follow her lead, and she's an enjoyable person to be around.
So the state game underway. WA with the first possession, hands from Harkin, and running into a dead end. So we'll have a secondary ball up. Well, for WA, Dan, Zippy Fish, obviously the big name, East Fremantle product, AFL National Academy player. Yeah,
massive. Going to be really interesting. I'll see that she's starting within that midfield position. Actually, she is in the midfield, I'm pretty sure. Number 4.
As Harkin gets dumped in the tackle again, 2 quick touches for her. Bit of congestion around the football at the moment, and we'll have another ball up. In fact, no, holding the ball. So the first free kick going the way of the Crow Eaters. They'll get a chance to go inside 50. They go long. Mark can't be taken. Leading out the charge for South Australia, but taking a good tackle is Rosenweig. Ball gets jarred loose. Managed to keep it alive. Leach. She gets taken a good tackle. So a bit of nerves early on in the big stage.
Matty, we're going to see today, and AD will bring you in on this, as there's a stoppage on that half-forward flank out of side of the ground. But it's going to be so important to bring the ball back through the corridor, these massive wings at Optus Stadium.
Yeah, the first thing the girls said as they walked out was how big the oval was, and we don't have big ovals like this for the local comp in Adelaide, but it also gives a lot of room for our speedsters to move into, so it'll be interesting to see how much goes through the middle, how much is on the wing.
Moon went inside 50, the ruck for South Australia, but Western Australia have since cut it off, and that was affected there by Claudia Wright. So SA through the hands there of Waterford. Gave the ball back there to the running Cockatoo Motlap. Her kick probably wasn't as sharp as she would have liked, and it rolls out there in a left forward pocket. Optus Stadium bathed in that unusual shade factor. Of course, some clouds in the distance, but of course the stadium providing that shade for the moment, so that just adds another layer to making it hard for both sides. It's front of the ruck tap. Good opportunity for West Australia through Ferguson, all the way from 2J. It's kick forward. WA just boxed in this back pocket. Right. Negotiate it pretty well. WA will have to be careful here. Another stoppage is looming. Umpire waiting an eternity there to blow the whistle. Still calls play on, eventually comes in. And we will have a stoppage with South Australia deep into attack.
Bit of a rolling maul, rugby union style that one, but the umpire clears a bit of the carnage. Decisive slap out from WA. Ball still to be won across half back. Ends up in the hands of Ma. She can wheel around and the ball thuds into the padding of the behind post. So we've travelled around 3 minutes, still waiting for our first call. 20-minute running clock for the 2024 state game, thanks to Kia. We'll have the resulting ball in. Quaife won it down at the back. Dispossessed in the good tackle there was Cockatoo Motlap. Play on is the call. Overrunning the footy was Wendland, and then the snap off her left boot registers the first score of the afternoon. It goes the way of South Australia, just the one behind, 3.25 minutes travelled, first term.
What do you make of South Australia's start, AD? Obviously a good defensive zone to lock it in their front half.
Yeah, well, one of the key messages that went out to the girls was their strength, their pressure is really one of the things that they identified themselves as something they wanted to bring to the game, and that pressure keeping it in the forward 50 has been huge so far.
Ma in some trouble, just hacks the ball forward. WA again have to be careful. They're going to cough up a goal here. Snap around the body, might have been Rosenweig. Defensively again, WA through right, just battle the ball forward. SA, you would think, just queuing up. Out a heap of time there, Button brought to ground. Good effective tackle there by Fish, who we mentioned in the preview, and WA will clear. Not effectively though, because I'm pretty sure that might have pitched out on the full. The umpire said that it's actually pitched inside on the chalk. We'll have a throw in some 60 metres around from South Australia's goal. In fact, they've reversed that right the first time. Here's Moon. Probing kick, travels about 40 metres. Going back with the flight is Gielmi for Western Australia. And throw in that left forward pocket. South Australia, for me, AD, look very organised with numbers across the front half. And when that kick is coming out for WA, it's just returning with change.
Well, there are three of the girls in the forward line are from Central District, so they're used to playing with each other. They're used to knowing how each other move, and the other girls around them are really intelligent footballers, so it's easy to slot in into that forward line mix.
Tick under 5 minutes played. Score update, South Australia 1 behind, lead WA yet to score. South Australia again go through Boothkey. Picked up effectively there by Steele Park, another inside 50. Almost a mark taken there by WA for right. Still circling around the football. SA again just queuing up. There was a hand pass fed out there by the skipper in France, and a turnover here for WA. And they should be away on that outer side through Leach.
So Leach run into a cul-de-sac, looks to chip back towards the corridor. In hot pursuit there is Harkin. She overran the football and stacks on the mill at the bottom of that. Sam Franson out of Glenelg, 52-game player for the Bays, as we've got another stoppage. The forward half pressure from South Australia has been relentless. Fish just paddles the ball back towards her own goal, concedes possession. South Australia, can they get clean ball use? Ball's going to fall in over the back, and golden opportunity here for Jep. She runs her measure and stabs home the first of the afternoon, and finally South Australia gets some reward for forward 50 pressure and entries.
She's a happy girl running off. Look at her. I don't know if that's a mouth guard or a smile.
Probably just genuine reward for effort, wasn't it, there for South Australia, Matt and AD? It's something that was probably unfolding over 2 or 3 minutes of football. West Australia just can't get it past their centre circle. South Australia lining up, and that goal was probably always going to happen. Yeah,
we said Caitlin Wendland on her left foot. She was looking really to go laterally. She wasn't looking to bomb it into the top of the square. She knew that Caitlin Rosenswig would be leading out to her, and over the back was Jep there for the running goal.
So first of the afternoon from the Double Blues, as decisive smack on the footy from Quaife. South Australia extract the footy yet again. Waterford propels them up. going without the footy there. In defence was Ortler. Extracting that was Ma. Big high up and under. Ball pitches. Takes a good bounce if you're a South Australian supporter. WA looking to use that boundary as an extra defender. In goes Ortler again and slaps on the handcuffs. Another stoppage inside forward 50.
Just having a look at the inside 50s for South Australia. This won't surprise both of you, but 6 to love at the moment. To use the tennis term, another shot on goal as that snuck through 4A behind. So SA shot on goal is actually out of bounds on the full. So tick under 7 3/4 minutes played. WA trail. South Australia 1-1-7. WA yet to score and yet to have a genuine inside 50. From the back pocket. And the Black Ducks will repel. And they'll have an opportunity to find Quaife on the outer side. Sort of cut a hell of a task there. Went back by hand there to Gomes, who was just absolutely mauled in the tackle. And it looks to me that Lakoya, Cockatoo, Motlap will have that kick.
Hannah Button, that one is.
So Button inside 50. South Australia once again just lock it up. It's just been a theme over the last, well, pretty much inside the first 8 minutes. Lock it up across that half forward and find a free player,
Well,
basically.
they're backing in the rucks and the midfielders to create stoppages, but then win the clearances. And SA are up in the clearances quite formidably, just due to that strength around the ball.
WA again under the pump in defence. Cameron throws it on the boot. And essentially, they've eventually found some space. Outer side kick. Found Leach. Just tumbles the ball to a centre wing. The organisation lacking. Arnott overran it. SA wrapped up in a tackle. Good pressure applied there by Gomes. At the bottom of the pack there for South Australia was Hewen. Ball thrown up. Good tap there from Fieldler for Western Australia. Another turnover, and South Australia have it on that far wing. This stage, 9.5 minutes played first term. South Australia 1-1-7. WA yet to score.
Yeah, WA in a fortunate position to have the two rucks today. 180 centimetres and 187, if you don't mind, as the ball comes back inside, off hands, out the back there is Ma. Can she gather cleanly? She can, toes the ball, and it trickles home for their second opportunistic goal, this time to Shana Ma. And obviously a teammate of AD, because she's just celebrated in the South Australian tracksuit to our right.
Yeah, just a little fist bump for Tashana, one of my teammates, as you said. She's always good for... She lurks is one of the words that is just used to describe her, how she plays. She'll knows when to go, and she times her runs really well, as you can see. And
alarm bells should be ringing, shouldn't they, for Jack Schwartz in the WA coaching box, because there was no one goal side of that contest, and that allowed Tashana Ma from the Redlegs, as we said, to trickle one home. Well, 56 games, too.
That's the second kind of goal over the top as well.
So the ball will come back into the middle. WA right up against it. A bright start for the visitors as they're ringing in some quick changes. Shelby Smith, their player to come onto the ground. 4-time consecutive best and fairest at the Bulldogs. WA haven't been further forward than this entry right now. Can they build? Better build up play this time. Into the hands of Valentini. Toes it down the line. Can they keep it alive? They're running out of tarmac was Cameron. And it just comes off the hand rather than the lower part of the leg, and we've got a boundary throw in at right half forward.
Well, I mentioned before that SANFLW's stoppage and winning out the contest is what they're looking to do. I think WA need to really look to create space and kick to one-on-ones, because that's the most effective play they've had.
Chance to go inside 50 through the hands of Kinane, but allowed no further forward progress as the first goal kicker in Jet. She knots it up, stalemate that centre half forward, ball up.
WA won't mind this. Just have the opportunity just to pull things up for the moment from the ruck tap. Another stoppage developing and a very aggressive tackle. At the bottom of the pack, looks to me like Shelby Smith. Rucks are going to go at it. Field up, been impressive. She was up against Moon, who has some high raps. Reading about her during the week. South Australia. will have the kick just backward of a centre wing. It's going to be in the hands there of Wendelin. Central Districts over there in SA. Beautiful left foot kick. Push came. No whistle. Back in board. This looks likely for South Australia through Martinio. But she gave it up. It was touch ball. Going back with the flight there for WA was Ortleb. Took the mark. Was clean. The umpire said that it was touched. And there'll be a ball up some 45 metres out. South Australia into attack. Rucks again. Fielder. Probably been one of WA's best in this first term. And a free kick has been picked out. And South Australia, through the agency there of Bates, the highly rated Bates, who's leading the SANFL with disposals, just pokes the ball to full forward. Not really a fan of that. You've got the distance on you. You might as well go back and apply some scoreboard pressure. WA will clear. Have an opportunity on centre wing. First back for South Australia. Just soccering the ball back into the dangerous area of the forward line there for WA was Falkenberg. Croaters won't mind that. All things wrapped up at half forward broadcast side of the ground. WA threatening for their first score of the term. We've played 13 and a half minutes first term. WA yet to score. South Australia 2-1-13.
Good work from Adele Arnott forcing that stoppage, but South Australia again send it out towards the broadcast wing. Trying to keep the ball alive there is Kuiper. Back in board. Contested possession from Smith, but turns it over. So WA, here they go. Popovsky takes the marks, got a runner laterally, and that's where the footy goes. Good front on pressure applied there in defence from Zul. Hand pass over the top. South Australia now through Boothkey. One-on-one inside 50. Bring it down to ground level. It's a bit of a one-on-one arm wrestle at the moment. Ortleb has the ball pinned to her and no chance of extracting the football.
AD, just quickly, what would you like to see Australia change when they bring that ball into the forward line? They're on top, but I felt like that was rushed and was just kicked to WA's advantage.
Yeah, it's a little bit... I think they've had the couple of kicks go over the top and they're just probably potting them down there thinking that the runners will come at this stage from where it's looking.
So Ma and Jep, the two goal kickers this afternoon. WA still waiting to inflict first bit of scoreboard pressure as we've got another ball up here at centre half forward. Plenty of ex-AFLW talent out there today. South Australia get creative with the tap. Hand pass comes out the side. Now they're trying to queue up through the middle. Asking a lot of a teammate was Valentini. Kick was smothered in there. Locking the footy in is Dylan. Former Brisbane Lion player. Played 3 games in the AFLW. That was clever. Venning. That allows South Australia to just get the shallow entry inside 50. More purchase on that kick. Brought down at ground level. Maybe a hold there on the South Australian forward. The umpire says play on. That mark won't be paid. It pitches right at the feet. And in immediately is Zul. She forces the ball up out of Woodville West Torrens. My father-in-law actually played for that club as they bring it back up. A very long time ago in the 70s. Footy gets jarred loose, and that's going to be a free kick surely to South Australia. Last touch outside the 50-metre arc as we're heading into the last 5 minutes of this first term. South Australia 2-1, WA yet to score.
Yes, of course, as it's going into South Australia's forward line, a big thank you to Kia for their support for the WAFLW state team and, of course, the WAFL state team. Kia has been driving WA footy for some years now, and their contribution to the game here in WA is highly appreciated. They're doing some great things. South Australia also doing some great things as they look to roll and queue up for their third goal. Now, was that touched off the boot? The umpire suggested it wasn't because he's paid the mark. And the mark has been taken by South Australia in the forward pocket, thereby Jep, who whacks through her second. South Australia AD off to the perfect start. 3-1-19 when they woke up with some nerves this morning. If they were told then by their coaching staff that they kicked the first 3 goals travelling, they would have taken that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, there were a lot of nervous girls today. Just a bit of the unknown being the first girls to represent SA like that. But in that forward 50 just then, Cockatoo Motlap had handball she could have given. She had options to kick to. There was a lot of options from SA, which is just a testament to the work rate, I think, from mids pushing up, and WA need to really start locking on their one-on-one almost.
So 2 goals now to get. South Australia well and truly in charge. WA just have no ascendancy from this midfield. And sooner there is a release for SA, they just peel off. They've got runners.
Yeah, and you can see that they're sort of coming in waves from behind. It's the halfbacks are really offering a lot of support, which is creating that movement. There's one more.
Here's Boothke, been lively in this first term. Looking for Ma. Again, creative, just socket it forward. They're looking to do what is ever required. Mark taken on the outer side of the ground, halfback flank there by Ferguson. Chopped off though, possession was wasted, and Boothke picks up another possession inside 30 seconds. WA fortunate that South Australia's kick was errant. Comes off the boot there, would have been Leach, who pokes the ball forward. South Australia just need some fluency from the back half here. WA have the numbers and get the stoppage. Just at half forward broadcast side of the ground, 52 metres out from the West Australian goal. Make that 55.
And while that kick from Boothke didn't come off, that was probably one of the first times they've looked to really switch lanes and angles rather than going laterally, down the line.
Brilliant tackle applied. South Australia through Cockatoo Motlap. They win the turnover, and through that grunt work, Bates can relieve. The kick was slightly overcooked. But WA can butter up there from the wing and get it back through Ortlap. Ortlap puts it into the path there at Cameron. This is probably the most likely for WA. Cameron goes by hand. Finds Bonza. Scraps the kick to full forward. Gee, they butchered that, Western Australia. They still have an opportunity, though. Someone's going to have to jump on top of it. South Australia lock it up. They were lucky there, Matt.
Yeah, fortunate, and unfortunately for WA, I think it's Jamie Hartkin, third in the competition for disposals. You can just see the left of your screen in the hands of the trainer, so we hope that she's going to be okay. The trainer's flooding over towards her. May have just copped a stray knee.
But that entry there was WA's first inside 50.
And Scrappy is at that as well, so...
And you can see that Cameron, getting a good look at it, has the ability to generate a scoring opportunity. This is not great for Western Australia to paint the complete obvious. But if anything, AD probably gives WA a chance just to soak up this momentum of South Australia.
And most of the positive things coming through is through the hands of Amara Camera at the moment. 23 games in the AFLW with the West Coast Eagles. Obviously not her best disposal.
It's very much perceived pressure there. She had a lot of space, but you obviously rushed it rather than using her weapon, which is a boot.
South Australia with the early lead, and they have made an impressive start here in this first state game. WA taking on South Australia, 3-1 to no score. Matt Chechen's here and Dan Hobley calling all the action. And Adrian Davies, who caught your eye firstly for the visitors?
Oh, it's hard to go past Jess Bates. She gets the 1-2 touches. I think another one of my teammates, Talita Boothke, off the half-back, has taken some good intercept marks as well.
So we'll take a short breath here at Optus Stadium. When we return, we'll run you through some of the numbers in that first term, and we'll be calling all the action. The WAFLW taking on the SANFLW women's quarter time here at Optus Stadium. We'll be right back.
This broadcast is brought to you by Kia. Kia's getting a ute. The Kia Tasman.
Kia's getting a ute.
Yeah? What's it called?
She'll call it the Kia Tugger.
Nah, the Volk's got a nice ring to it.
If it's rings they're after, surely the Kia Dell.
Kia Watson.
The Kia Buddy. Oh, God, the Volk.
Okay, Aloisi. Weird crowd tonight.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
5. Welcome back to Optus Stadium, Women's State game for 2024. First meeting between WA and South Australia, and it is that team currently on screen from South Australia who have made a very bright start. 3-1-19. WA yet to score, just the one entry inside their forward 50. Matt Chechen's welcoming you here to a sunny and bright Optus Stadium. Dan Hobley calling the action alongside me, and all the way over from Adelaide, Adrian Davies, who's been running her eye over some of the key stats in the first term.
It is mostly SAL at the top here of the disposals, with Jess Bates on 9. Zippy Fish is there on 6 for WA, but then it is Talita Buethke, Cockatoo Motlop, Tashana Ma, Caitlin Wendland all on 5 disposals. We scroll down a little bit more, we get Emily Bonza from WAFL is on 4 disposals.
And we look at the inside 50s, and the differentiation's not obviously going to be too compounding here. WA with plenty of work to do, AD. 14 inside 50s for South Australia, 1 for Western Australia. That's extremely damning. The clearance is also damning for WA, 15-3. About really the only thing to write home about for WA at the moment is the tackle count, and they don't have the footy, and they're not even leading that. South Australia 31-29.
We might need to give a little bit of credit to the West Australian defenders, because they've been under a barrage of the ball coming inside 50. I thought Ortlup really stood up. Claire Ortlup out of the Claremont Footy Club there, the Tigers in the western suburbs here of WA. I thought she played an impactful part, but it's just they've been getting beaten out the back. It's happened for 2 of the 3 goals, and another one from a mark and a set shot. So that's something that obviously the WA coaching team led by Jack Schwartz is going to have to address, you would suggest, at quarter time.
And I think WA, AD, and you can obviously reflect on that being in our special comments chair, but I feel like WA are getting their hands on it in the middle with their ruck.
Yeah.
It's just South Australia's ability to feed off that. I mean, we go back to the importance of what Jessica Bates plays in this side, starting in the centre of the ground. She's got 9 disposals, but my feeling is that we haven't really seen her even get started, and she's already leading on the ground. Just wait. We see her getting fired up.
She's one of those players that
could be mayhem.
Yeah, she just accumulates a lot of touches that you don't know. Like they're there and they're important, but she's an accumulator. But you're dead right that she hasn't started really getting in with the impactful ones, which is going to make it even worse to stop.
Got some senior experience, obviously. I want to talk to you about Hannah Button. 39 games for the Crows over 4 seasons. Handy addition to be playing today.
I think 2 flags with the Crows as well. She won the SANFLW League Best and Fairest in the first year for the women. So a really experienced player. We've got Caitlin Rosenzweig out there as well, AFLW with the Crows. Caitlin Wendland's out there. A couple of girls from Port, Jade Halfpenny and Cockatoo Motlop.
And talk us through the strength of your competition over there. It started in 2017, earlier than what we did over here in WA. We've added a couple of teams over here. Just talk us through the state of the game in your home state.
Yeah, it's really strong, as you can see. We've got our under-18 girls and under-16 girls are, I think they've been undefeated for the last 2 or 3 seasons. So it's coming from the bottom up. The pathways from 7 or 8 years ago are really starting to show now when we've got the number of girls getting drafted that we do.
It is tremendous. So we're about to get underway. Ball up for the start of the second term here at Optus. The floodlights have been lit, and let's hope that there can be a fire lit under WA. They're kicking to the left of your screen as term number 2 will get underway, and we'll have another restart Lauren Quaife liked her game so far, Dan. First in the hit-outs in the Waffle women's competition, averages 22 a game. The on-ballers of WA just need to do a better job of sharking it.
Yeah, and they follow up their own ball too. Quaife's does a lot for a club back in the WAFLW, but yeah, been very, very good so far.
So here comes WA, and that was Cameron, ex-Eagle. This looks better from WA. Kick out towards the lead, just fell at the feet there of the pursuing Rayson. She's kicked 7 goals through a couple of games in the Waffle this year. Amara Cameron again, one of the better players in the gold and black jumper of WA, forces this stoppage.
Had the right idea there, going inside 50 and lowering the eyes.
But she handballed again, Amara Cameron there, so she probably had a little bit less time than we saw in the last quarter, but another one that she's looking to give off by hand.
So Soraya Moon, South Adelaide Panther player, second in the comp in hit-outs, kicks down the throat there of Emily Bennett from West Perth. The Cardis, as they're affectionately known here in WA, loads up. That's a very high kick. In fact, had too much at the end. South Australia looking to scramble back for once for Falkenberg. Showed good composure, but had her kick smothered right at the end. Good work at ground level there from Moon. So the ruck there showing that she's good at ground level as well. And we've got another stoppage inside forward 50. A minute and a half travelled in this second term. We haven't had an addition to the quarter-time score.
Absolutely vital for Western Australia. They lock this in. It's a fairly big lead to make up. Trailing by 19 points, tick under 2 minutes played second term. WA need to kick the next goal. South Australia will be very aware of that. If they could kick a couple to the northern end of Optus Stadium, it's certainly going to make it hard for WA. They scrap out of this stoppage. Western Australia go around the corner, the kick in the direction there of Leach. Miley Leach from East Fremantle. Beats her over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in. Boundary umpire coming a fair distance in. So this will be in the heart of the inside 50. Rucks to compete. Getting a tap on that was Rayson. Went to ground. A sin when you're in the forward line. Had the right idea just to lock the ball up. Just plenty of South Australian and WA numbers around the ball. Umpire quick to throw the ball up. South Australia through Moon, getting first use. Kick out of the pack. And the mark taken. In the defensive zone. Looks to me like it may have been Franson who pushes the ball wide to the western wing. This is where WA have to be careful. They've got numbers through O'Hare. Also Bennett. And there'll be another stoppage outer side of the ground. WA with a vacant number back into the centre. That's Taylor Ferguson, who's peeled off this pack. So if the ball does come out, they can repel and go back inside their forward line. But they're yet to get some movement. 3.5 minutes play. Second, South Australia lead 3-1-19. Western Australia, as we've mentioned, yet to score. Umpire has paid that holding the ball. And the kick will be taken by Wendland at half back. Gave it up. A 50-50 ball coming through hard again was Wendelin. Good hand pass, gave it to Smith. Smith went in the Mar direction. Mar overran it. WA have the numbers and can release the ball through Fish. Has to be vital. Fish ran into Mar, who got the ball back, and inside 50 again for South Australia. The kick out in front there of Rosenwide. Uses her body strength. Umpire has to make a call. Soccer off the ground. That's a goal for me.
Great goal.
And SA kicked their fourth.
That's Sam Franson, the captain there with that goal.
So Franson kicking her first, and South Australia putting some early daggers in West Australia's hopes for this second term. They couldn't afford to cough this goal up. This is brilliant stuff there from Rosenwijk. Pure strength, got it forward. As you mentioned, AD, Franson with the left foot, if you don't mind, off the deck.
Yeah, I don't mind that goal. That's a good one. Caitlin Rosenzweig, I said before, one of the AFLW experienced girls, but she's one of the most experienced girls in the SANFLW competition, and just keeping that ball in front and giving the speeds on the outside the chance to do that.
So South Australia go to 4-1-25. 5 minutes played second term. WA yet to score. The ball back in the centre of Optus Stadium.
Yeah, Rosenweig, that was a fantastic effort. The 2023 leading goal kicker of the competition last year. Kicked the winning goal in the last game. Here come WA. This is Cameron. Clearly WA's best. Is this their chance to open their account this afternoon? Not on this occasion. The ball pitches right on the paint, and that will be a ball in right next to the post. As you can see, Amara Cameron there on screen. So a bevy of bodies around for this stoppage. Goes over the head of both rucks in the end. No free kick coming towards Fish. Again, South Australia with brief time. That'll be holding the ball. Great chase down from Popovsky. The lone Subiaco line player out there today. She's looking to go into the pocket. Kick just pulled rather wide and didn't really gave Miley Leach from East Fremantle great opportunity. Another one goes begging for WA.
AD, without throwing you under the bus, I understand that from West Australia's point of view that you're learning the
Yes.
players, but what can West Australia do to take advantage of Cameron's run across that centre half forward line? Is she better off having a run in the midfield, or is it poking her back to full forward? What do you do with a player like that?
Probably putting her through the midfield, just because that burst of speed when she does get the ball, the first 4 or 5 steps where she drives out away from her opponent, she's burnt them a few times. So it's probably doing that further up the ground, getting the kick further in the 50.
So the umpire again sends it aloft, pitches at the feet of Waterford. She's under heavy duress by WA. In fact, it's going to be a free kick, so it's coming back to the gold and black. Valentini loads up to the hot spot, a wrestle, and the mark is going to be paid to the player in front. So strong work as they bring it out laterally. That's dangerous. There's Cameron. Can she kick the goal? Not on this occasion. Right foot check side just misses. First score. We've travelled almost 8 minutes in this second term. WA finally register a minor.
Franson was very good in defence there, taking that defensive mark for South Australia. She's at all ends of the field.
Yeah, we've just got Sarah Still Park there from SA is limping off, not favouring one of her legs at all there. So we'll keep an eye on that one.
She's right near the action. Hopefully she doesn't. She has to hobble off now because the action's so close.
Well, I probably would have liked the umpires to call that a
Probably
bit earlier.
Yeah, stop the game itself. So WA have an inside 50. It came off the boot there of Taylor Ferguson. Again, plenty of numbers around it. For WA, most importantly, Cameron, who's really trying hard in there just to try and create something. Stoppage looming.
The thing I'm noticing in the WA forward 50 is SA flooding back, whether it's their wings that are dropping back defensively, but it's really flooding the corridor. So when they do have a mark, the leads have to come really wide out, which isn't ideal for this sort of a competition. We're not quite kicking from all the angles yet.
So WA, another big opportunity. All thrown up. Racing around the corner. Just has to judge the bounce. Did well there, I thought, Leach, just to provide a bit of body on body. Gave the old hip to the side of the South Australian defender. It rolled through for A behind. WA still yet to kick a goal. 8 3/4 minutes played. Second term of this state game. WA 2 behinds. South Australia 4-1-25. They bring the ball out of their defensive zone. Defensive 50. Kick went forward in the direction there of Franson. Comes to Ma, shows a lovely turn of pace and just really robust skills, good core strength. All kick to the wing. Franson went back with the flight. WA though, may even get a 50 out of that potentially. A good mark taken there by Entwistle. No real options, just forced to just throw the ball on the boot. Might work out for WA, but you don't want Mike coming into your sentences when it comes to your football club. Another rare inside 50 for WA. Off the boot there of Fish. Been blanketed pretty well by South Australia, considering her profile. And South Australia, in my humble opinion, have done pretty well just to trap the ball there, AD. And stop that inside 50 generating, even though it is inside 50. There's been no real flair going forward.
No, I think that SA's tackle pressure is so high, but I'm noticing that it's so high that there's 3 or 4 of them sometimes, which is leaving a WA player out there.
As Popovsky loads up, and we finally got a major for the Black Ducks, and it goes the way of Popovsky. And we need to praise her effort. She's like 2 strong tackles in forward 50 to force a few stoppages. And as we have a look at this replay, Popovsky, as we said, the lone Subiaco Lions player out there, was shut down by Buathke, and she managed to get the nice, kind, friendly, almost a leg spinner, that one, to go through the big sticks. And WA, some reward for forward 50 pressure. 1-2-8, trailing South Australia 4-1-25. Nice finish.
And we go back to the work AD of Entwistle on that halfback flank in between the centre wing and halfback flank. 3 against 1, but wanted to generate some forward movement there. I thought it was great work.
I can feel a bit of a switch in momentum, like Waffle of that. This is going to be one on the board. They're going to roll on from here, I would hope. But the pressure's gone up by them. I think they probably took the quarter to get into the game, which hopefully doesn't come back at the end to bite them too much.
Zippy Fish was shoved in the middle of the back. The umpire said play on. Numbers favouring South Australia. Good at ground level. That was Smith. Fed it off to her teammate. Got dumped. It was Wendland. Ball still in dispute at half forward. Good tackle there laid by Bonza. Now there's an arm wrestle at right half forward. And we'll have another stoppage. Anyone would think that there's a 4 or 5, 6 goal breeze to the left of screen because the majority of our scores have been kicked to that side, but there is not a breath of air wind out there at the moment. Hand pass was dropped initially, and that allowed 2 WA players to converge right on the hammer there of Jess Bates. 2022 SANFLW fairest and best for Glenelg. Kick inside forward 50. Awkward spinning ball there for the defenders to try and negotiate. Trying to break her way through congestion there was Sam Franson, going nowhere. Good work by Emily Bennett.
And we're worth keeping an eye on who is on Bates, because she's had a pretty quiet quarter. She's had 3 touches this quarter to start with 9 from the first. So I think she might be getting a bit of a close attention from someone.
Thoughts of our expert, Adrian Davies from Norwood Football Club. Chechens and Dan Hobley calling this action from Optus as WA through Canane. Go down the line to a 50-50 contest. Overrunning the footy was O'Hare. Going in, winning the contested footy was Bennett. Manages to just will a few more metres of territory there for WA. Hand pass just couldn't come out and hit the mark. Hand pass chopped off. South Australia, another chance to reload to a 1-on-1. Playing from behind there was Bennett. Bennett lays a strong tackle again and almost lays the German suplex on her opponent there in Isabel Kuiper, and another stoppage on the arc of 50.
South Australia generating this forward movement. WA desperate to deny them. At the foot of the ball for Western Australia, just ripping out of the contest was Canane. Wins herself a free kick. And Twistle, Canane, a couple of those names starting to bob up AD for WA. And I just feel if Western Australia can just be a bit cleaner through this midfield transition, they're in the game at least. My point, as they've turned the ball over for South Australia. Franson, already a goal kicker, had more time than she probably gave herself, but that all gets back to talk behind the footy. Through to the right-hand side behind post and goal post, and through for a behind. A massive opportunity there for SA.
Yeah, it feels really, it'd be frustrating being Waffle because you're working so hard to get it into that top of that 50, and then SA are able to transition really quickly, and so they're getting it back in to their half within 3 disposals. Strong
mark by O'Hare at halfback for Western Australia. The transfer of play was good. It was encouraging. It carried the distance of 40 metres. South Australia with their problems in the midfield. Another inside 50, 3-on-1. Good defensive play again from Western Australia. They battle through. Eventually we'll get a stoppage. Ortlep in there. So too Gomes for WA, who's won a free kick. Deep inside 50. Transfers play to the outer side. Finds Ortlep. Name that we've mentioned a few times this afternoon. Be worth getting to know her stats, which will bring you at half-time. The kick was on. It was dangerous, but it wasn't finished off by Bonza. who represents the Claremont Footy Club. She's played the 15 WAFLW games. So a massive achievement to make your state side and represent the black and gold after 15 games of WAFLW. Throw in outer side of the ground, rucks to compete again. SA, another inside 50, 2-on-1 here for Western Australia. Should be able to sort things out. Again involved is Valentini. She started to increase her work around the ground this corner. We'll have another ball up, 55 metres out, pretty much directly in front of goal for SA. Another quick score check. 15 3/4 minutes gone. WA 1-2-8. They've hit back and kicked a goal this quarter. South Australia have also kicked a goal. They're 4-2-26.
Well, right on the arc of 50. Looks as though we might reset again. South Australia been good in their forward 50 of just somehow manufacturing the ball to come out of the pack. Case in point right there. Was that a shove into the middle of the back there of Venning? Said the umpire. Clever hand pass to Ferguson. Kicks off a step back in towards the middle of the ground. Taken without it there was Buithke. Umpire says play on. In going for the tackle is Jamie Harkin.
Is it fair to say, sorry Matt, is it fair to say the tackling has gone up this quarter? I know that it was fairly even in that first quarter, but there just doesn't seem to be any space for either side.
No, and I feel like the pressure has come more from Waffle. They've lifted and matching SA's intensity from the first quarter, which it shows. They're creating more stoppages, but in doing that, they're actually starting to now be a bit better around the stoppage and take some clearances, which we didn't see in the first quarter.
Moon won it down, but they're treading water at the moment, South Australia. Hurried kick from Jet. He's intercepted. Umpire says play on. So towards this broadcast wing, running her measure was Fish, showing clean pair of heels to her opponent. Again, the kick lacking a little. South Australia with numbers in defence. Buithke got corralled. Plays the 1-2. Now dispossessed. Correct disposal, said the umpire. Clever little one coming out. Now WA keeping the ball alive. That's Fish. Excellent vision in the end. Off to a teammate in Bennett. Her kick rather disappointing. Tries to re-follow up. Kicks a flare straight up and down. And a good, courageous mark taken in defence because the closing speed from Bonza, and that would have taken a bit of gumption from Steele Park there out of the Roosters of North Adelaide.
Which is good to see. She's back on the field. She limped off before, so I'm glad to see she's back out there.
One of your ex-clubs too?
One of my ex-clubs, not an ex-teammate. We didn't play together, but she's come from NT with the Pink Tails program. They've got a link with North Adelaide.
Brilliant. As the ball comes out, WA sweeping it wide with the hands there was Bennett. Still can't take a contested mark inside 50. And South Australia looking for the sanctuary there of the boundary line or ball up. Take your pick, right on the paint.
That's probably been an obvious one for me, is Western Australia's drop marks. Some really clean, uncontested ones that have been dropped at crucial points along a chain of possessions.
West Australia with another inside 50, trailing by, at this stage, 3 goals, which probably feels more like 5 for South Australia. And a strong mark taken as they twitch the ball wide, or more inboard, I should say. Fish takes the mark. Fish with an inside 50 for Western Australia. Probing kick. South Australia will just mop up in defence. WA will again reload. They'll do that through Fish. There's been a free kick that's been pulled out. Of course, thank you to Kia for their support of the WAFLW state team and WAFL state team, of course, who will play in a couple of weeks. Kia has been driving WA footy for some years now, and their contribution to the game in WA is very, very much appreciated. They are a big part of West Australian football at the present time. South Australia with their problems in their forward line. West Australia looking to go to full forward off the boot there of Ferguson.
That's through.
Over the top, and Ferguson's kicked a much-needed goal for Western Australia. Heralding all the way, or coming all the way, I should say, from the 2J Footy Club out there in the Mortlock Footy League. And Taylor Ferguson ices a vital goal for Western Australia. They go to 2-2-14. They trail the SANFLW women's side 4-2-26. All of a sudden, AD, as we've gone to half-time, This game is in the balance.
Yeah, Steel Park, she was very unlucky there because she would have missed that by millimetres or centimetres over the top. But that was just a testament to the pressure, because there's pressure on the kicker, there's pressure around the contest, but pressure on a handball is enough to create that goal.
Half time here at Optus Stadium, and right at the death, WA actually win that quarter. So after not scoring in the first term, WA, that team on screen, hitting back hard. It was 3-1-19 to no score at quarter time, and you can see through the body language there of WA running off the field, and South Australia still holding on to a 2-goal lead. So half time 4-2 South Australia, leading WA 2-2. So up until that very late goal for WA, it was 2 goals 2 to 1 goal 2, and momentum could be key in footy.
Well, it certainly can, and West Australia really, I think, against the odds, Matty, and AD, I'm sure that you'd be in agreement. Against the odds, South Australia must be scratching their head. There was probably opportunity through Franson's miss on goal, which sounds harsh on the captain, but there couldn't have been an opportunity there to go maybe to 5 goals to 1 or 2 goals to Western Australia. But WA finish with the gusto and momentum, give themselves an opportunity. But South Australia, on the other hand, AD, I don't think are too far away from blowing the game wide open.
Yeah, I think they've been really solid in the WAFL defence. I mentioned it earlier, but some of the girls back there have probably stopped in the first quarter a bit of an onslaught, which then let the rest of the side, the mids and the forwards, settle and now get into the game. And as much as I can put my sample hat on and say I would love a blowout, I actually really like a close game, so this is good.
Well, stay tuned, because the second half will be right around the corner. We're going to take a break here. It is half-time 2024 state game. It is the SANFLW women's team with a 2-goal edge, and we're going to have a break. When we return, we will go through some of the numbers and have a look at what's going to happen, because it is game on. Half-time at Optus. We'll see you soon.
This broadcast brought to you by Kia. Kia's getting a ute. The Kia Tasman.
Kia's getting a ute.
Yeah? What's it called?
If you want a name that really qualifies, surely the Kia Aloisi.
Keep your shirt on, John. The Kia Macca.
Hall of Famer coming through. I don't remember you kicking 1,000. The Kia Buddy.
Skull Aloisi.
Best moment of your life. Yeah, unbelievable. Have a feel of it.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
So now you're here again, knocking at my door. A little too late for, I'm sorry for. The lights went up cause you kept cutting the cord, and I started to fade into your grave. See, I finally opened up my eyes, and I saw me coming back to life. That I'd be better without you inside. It's time to...
This broadcast is brought to you by Kia. Kia's getting a ute. The Kia Tasman.
Kia's getting a ute.
Yeah? What's it called?
She'll call it the Kia Tugger.
Nah, the Volk's got a nice ring to it.
If it's rings they're after, surely the Kia Big Del.
Kia Watson.
The Kia Buddy.
Oh God, the Volk!
Okay, Aloisi. Weird crowd tonight.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
Stats.
Live back at Optus Stadium, some wonderful highlights. Capped off there, WA supporter with Taylor Ferguson's late goal, getting WA back into this contest. Half time here at the 2024 Women's State Game. It is South Australia 4-2-26 leading WA 2-2-14. Popovsky, Ferguson, the two individual goal kickers for WA. Jet with 2 goals, Ma and Franson, the lone goal kicker in the second. Matt Chechens is my name. Pleasure to have you as the sun still peeking its head through the clouds here at Optus. The floodlights are on. Perfect conditions for women's football. Have been joined in commentary this afternoon by Dan Hobley and Adrian Davies from South Australia. And your take, guys, of that first half? It was a late show from WA, but we've got a game now.
OD, I'll let you lead on that.
Yeah, well, SA came out firing first quarter. Really thought it might have been a blowout this game, but I'm really impressed with the way WA sort of reset from the start of the second quarter. You know, every quarter you sort of say that start at 0-0, and they really took that on board. And apart from a really good goal from Sam Franson, you know, they're really back in this.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, 14-1 was the inside 50 count at quarter time, and WA, to their credit, particularly the back line, keeping them in the game. And then some of their forwards, I thought Eva Popovsky, Dan, was superb. She laid some strong tackles around the forward 50-metre arc, and then got a fortuitous goal herself to breathe a bit of life into the contest.
And that's what WA needed, didn't they? There's some support around Cameron. Fergus obviously kicking one late, but Cameron was just in dire need of support. We'll quickly run through some stats before we begin the third quarter and get your comments on this, AD. But Jessica Bates has just been prolific within the SANFLW women's competition. I have an idea, she got 36 possessions in her previous game over there at the SANFLW and 7 clearances last week against Sturt. So she's hardly out of form at the present stage. So one of the better players. She leads with 15 touches. Zippy Fish with 13 for WA. Boothke with 12 possessions. Wendelin with 9. And then we've got Cockatoo with 8 possessions, along with Shelby Smith. So there has been pretty much some overall dominance there for South Australia in the possessions category. But when I look at that top line of players that have got the footy from WA and South Australia, for me, probably Boothke's been probably one of that's really stood out of where I've seen the name, witnessed the play.
Yeah.
And feel like she's been one of SA's better players.
Well, Talita plays as a wing traditionally, a wing that covers back into defence, and today she's playing a bit more as a full-time defender. But her ability to intercept the play, and she looks to create the run-on from behind. It's really instinctive to her, and this is probably one of the better games I've actually seen her play.
Inside 50s, a check. We've only just mentioned that a few moments ago. Maddie brought it up. Inside 50s for WA, 13. South Australia, 19. Clearances, 24 to South Australia, 12 to WA. And the rebound 50s are also an interesting stat. South Australia in a position of where they're not going too badly in that space.
So the second term, 13-5, inside 50s favouring WA. So all the action to the left of screen. South Australia will be kicking that way as the third term is underway. The umpires paid a 50-metre penalty, the first of the evening, going the way of WA. So I think that's Fish will get to advance the footy, maybe within range as well, as the red jumpers flooding back.
We have a 25-metre penalty in the SANFLW, so that's just taken me by surprise that it looks like a full 50.
Or maybe our measurements are a bit different over here. We use metres, don't we? So
slightly concerned for
not
the
furlongs.
Wouldn't want to be a real estate agent. The umpire.
So the ultimate start after the 100-inch penalty, the 50-metre penalty, and Zippy Fish gets her first, second in the comp for disposals, and that is the ultimate start for WA. And polished finish here as we have a look at the replay, and she's going to be a player that a lot of clubs at the level above are going to have their eye on.
Yeah, she won't be around this level for too much longer, and I don't want to speak for the SA girls, but they probably were aware it was a 50-metre penalty, but it makes them a little bit more makes them a little more important not to be giving away. So that'll be in their heads now.
You feel like Australia potentially might have been torched by the local brigade in some form. Out of the centre of the ground, a beautiful kick there from Wendelin, probably one of the better kicks on the ground. An inside 50 immediately here for South Australia. Tracking back for Western Australia. Deep in that back pocket was Jelmy. And did very well just to get that away from the South Australian forwards. One of those being Rosenweig. And Brown to give 3 variations on that name today.
Rosenswag. That came from her mouth, but I'm not sure.
Rosenswag. So the ball thrown in. South Australia a kick on goal. Come off the boot there of Falkenberg.
And Rosie actually does have a lot of swag, so I think she'll take swag if you give that one to her.
WA.
It's only taken us a half for our first pun, but we got there.
Go from the back pocket. Good mark taken for Western Australia there by O'Hare. She'll be the recipient because there's a free kick distributed. So O'Hare at half back. Pokes the kick to the running Harkin. An important player for Western Australia, especially within this second half. To Kate Orme. Goes with her kick, and Western Australia just starting to get a bit of a run on here. Wright had it, gave it up, was going to get it back. Was there a high tackle applied? There was.
That was a fantastic mark there. I think we didn't give that the credit it deserved. 2-on-1 in the middle there.
O'Hare goes inside 50. The kick not really up to standard. WA need to hit their targets. They'll be frustrated with that. And believe it or not, they trail by 6 points. A golden opportunity for West Australia to press. Rayson taps it down. Cameron got the hand pass out. Across the body there for Fish, starting to get into the game. South Australia have to be careful here, have to be precise. Jep I should say. Goes to Bates. Bates turns the ball over. Tracking back with the flight of the ball for South Australia was King. Haven't called her name a great deal today. Falkenberg just hacks the ball forward. Went looking there for Hewen. Again through Orme. Brings the ball back to the full forward line. But it's going to be Jep again. Will attempt to clear. Gave it to Steele Park. And out of all that, South Australia can reload from half-back through Shelby Smith. West Australia trail 3-2-20. The SANFLW side 4-2-26. We've played 4 minutes, third term here at Optus Stadium.
It was good vision in the end from Smith. Best on ground in last year's grand final. And they picked their way through the WA defence on that outer side. Not one player in the arc of 50. How will that ball bounce? Straight into a contest. Getting rid of her opponent there was Bates. 3-on-1 the tackle. They managed to extract the footy. This is Ma. Throws it onto the boot. And she's got it. Her second. One in the first. Now in the third. She likes that end of the ground. Her first one a lot closer in, but that one was a polished finish in the end. Let's have another look. Great work there at ground level with Jess Bates. And then almost basketball-like, wasn't in the end. Tashana Ma stealing it out of the arms of the WA opponent. And that's a celebration and a half.
Yeah, that's her favourite one, actually. She actually does a good Spider-Man one too, but I don't know, I've got to remind her to pull that one out.
But AD, that was just another classic demonstration for South Australia getting out the back. Mar's been a feature of that.
I think I've noticed it at both ends that SA have people front and centre at the ball drop. So when you have your key forwards contesting it, SA have got numbers on the ground and WA are probably chasing that.
Massive thump from the restart by Quaife, but it is South Australia again. Quinn kicks them out towards a vacant wing. Fish is everywhere at the moment. Kicks off a step, driving right football out towards left half forward. Cameron overran the football, shows a good second effort. Quinn again looks to try and clear. Good smother on the football. South Australia doing the 1%ers at the moment. Trying to pick away three. Clever little hand pass in the end. That was strong work, Valentini. WA with a shot for goal that goes through. Well, it's been a highlight package in the last 5 minutes, and it is Popovsky again, who kicked their first of the afternoon. She doubles her tally. Much like Grand Slam tennis final, it's just going back and forth this third term, and the game has come to life.
Well, as one team lifts, the other one's lifting to match them.
And AD, we reflect on that goal. Wonderful finish. He's kicked a couple now, has Eva, I should say. But out of all this, to South Australia address their midfield makeup, is it time to send someone to Fish? She seems to have influenced this fight back from Western Australia.
I've got a feeling that number 11 there, Poppy Waterford, has been sent to Fish because she's in the nicest way possible, a bit of an annoying player that'll get on her case, and if she is, she's just let her go in that one.
Quaife's dominance in the midfield too has been telling. WA have gone forward through Fish yet again, and a free kick will be taken at centre half forward by Cameron. If she gets up and about, she can really help WA out. The kick into some vacant territory. I think she went looking for Fish again. South Australia with numbers. Cameron, the hard body, followed up her own work, goes to full forward with the kick. A brilliant mark. Absolutely wonderful mark. Arnott. Adele Arnott from the Claremont Football Club has clutched probably the most important mark for Western Australia all day, to level the scores. From point blank, she bangs it through. This is a state game, well and truly. Western Australia, remember, had South Australia kicked the first 3 goals of the contest. WA looked stone cold. 5-2, 32 apiece, a tick under 8 minutes, third quarter, state game action. AD, game on.
Game on. Yeah, well, I just made a comment that Zippy might have someone monitoring her, but she was really important out of that first clearance. And you said they went looking for her, but SA had 4 players around the ball drop and still didn't manage to work that out. I think maybe they're a little bit rattled. They do seem a little bit off.
It's just the dominance within this midfield has flipped the contest and the narrative on its head. South Australia haven't contested the ruck the last 3 attempts. They've just let Western Australia belt the ball forward. Yeah. Fielder is in there for WA and it did it again.
Oh, sorry, that is our second ruck there, Jade Halfpenny, and so she's not a traditional ruck, which might be why she's holding back to be another midfielder almost.
The influence of Cameron is also undeniable. Another inside 50 for Western Australia. Tracking the ball for WA. On all hands and on the deck was Bonza. Lost the footy. South Australia very dangerously across the face of goal. Will bring back into the action for Fish. Smith there too, just to show a steady hand. And South Australia, AD, they dodge a bullet.
Yeah, this is going good.
Stoppage, 45 metres out. WA pressing for the lead, if you can believe it. A clearance by SA to the broadcast wing or the broadcast half flank. Nursed forward by Hewin. The kick travelled the required distance and finds the experience there of Bates. Bates measures her ball. Going back with the flight there was Jelmy, overran the football. South Australia will go through Button. Another inside 50. This is telling for South Australia, I should say, if they can make it work. Around the body the kick came. Halfpenny needed the full quota. Just couldn't get enough purchase on the ball with that right foot snap.
Willing that one home as my fellow forward.
But AD, they
quite.
snatch back the lead. They lead 5-3-33, 10 minutes played, third term. Maddie, she's game on.
Probably the first time someone from Norwood has actually barracked for someone from Port too to squat. At least the ball comes back in through the middle of the ground. Fish, the 2-4s, going to lock horns. Wendelin overran it. Fish extracted it. They're out, WA. One-on-one here at centre half forward. How's the kick? Just through the arms of the leading player in Bennett. South Australia scrambling again. They're standing up across centre half back. They force another stoppage as we exactly halfway through this third term. Important ball up. Towed back towards our own goal from Wendelin. Has to go again. And some more strong tackling. This time from Buwithki. Umpire again just swallowing the whistle, allowing a lot of play, a lot of scrapping and arm wrestling before he calls an end to the stalemate. So an important stoppage for South Australia to stand up. Again, we'll have another reset, and as there is no time added on, the ticks of the clock continue to evaporate in this third term. It's been WA well on top in this third term. South Australia have got numbers that trying to rebound across half-back. Pushed off the kick in towards the middle of the ground. Gwynn taken without the football. Umpire right on the scene will pay advantage. So South Australia are out. Now there's 3-on-2 further ahead of this contest. How will it sit up? There's 2 players vying for possession. Kuiper was there as well. WA flooding back. South Australian pressure still relentless. Tracking back that ball on the footy, rather the ball on the ground was Ortlup. Did well by hand, was clean. Kick coming out towards Popovsky. Got a shove in the middle of the back. Some reprieve for WA at right half back.
They get on with things. Ball on centre wing on the broadcast side of the ground. It was in the hands there of Leach. Leach to Cameron, who's just looked so exciting when she's had any form of space. Artlep was just bumped out of the road. And SA should clean things up with some calmness through Wendland. She's been brilliant with that left foot peg. She's such a beautiful kick of the football. South Australia with a couple of question marks over them, especially these last 10 minutes, go forward through Martino. And they turn the ball over. And the mark taken in defence there by Claire Ortlip, representing the Claremont Football Club. Goes with a bullet-like pass back inboard. And WA can just raffle the ball around. Bonza, or I should say Leach, gathering plenty of possessions. This next kick very telling. Finds Fish. Fish again inside 50. Through the hands there of Artlip. Shovelled forward there by Pofioski. Already kicked a couple of goals this afternoon. This is the most pressure AD that South Australia have copped all day. WA going up a notch. Stoppage, ball up 25 metres out directly in front. South Australia clinging onto a 1 point lead.
It was probably one of the first times they've had that forward entry and had the Crummers at the ball drop as well, which could have been really dangerous there. Smith
telling possession. Good body work back in there. Doing all the right things, South Australia in defence. But where's the run going to come from AD? That's what's probably stopped South Australia. Don't have the footy. I know, I appreciate you can't run with it.
No, well, I mentioned earlier that we have a lot of mids in the forward line, which they're all very capable of coming through the middle, whether it's getting some slightly fresher legs.
WA again in control through the agency there of Intwistle. Back to Fish, being the narrative of this quarter. She's dragging her team over the line at the moment. Leach is there. Stoppage, broadcast side of the ground, half forward flank. WA into attack. They're 48 metres from goal. We've played 14 and a half minutes third term. South Australia by a point.
Approaching the home stretch. Under 5 minutes of this last term. Smith, her old man Greg, famous footballer. Over 100 games at VFL and SANFLW level. I think played for Collingwood from memory, and also South Melbourne / Sydney. Also captained the Bulldogs back in the days. The ball comes in, numbers favouring the red, blue and gold of South Australia. So a chance now through the left boot of Martino. Transfers play accurately. South Australia happy just to take the air out of the footy, you would suggest, but that ball's interesting in towards a contest. And South Australia fortunate not to cough the ball up across half back. They get the stoppage. Just the 1 point margin. 3-1-19 to no score after the first term. Crumbs gathered by O'Hare. Went to bounce the footy, didn't come back to her. Just busting through the middle of the pack, swinging around the right boot is Arnott. Got the wrong side of the football. How will it bounce? Kindly, but only momentarily. Is that going to be holding the ball? You bet it is. So good, strong work, relentless pressure from Miley Leach, and a chance possibly to knock the game up with a behind, but more importantly for WA, maybe hit the front for the first time this afternoon. It's going to take her best effort.
She gave it a really good effort to try to increase her angle there too, didn't she?
So Leach, can she put the Sandgropers in front? Right to the teeth of goal off hands. Ties the game up again, 5-3 apiece, with exactly 4 minutes remaining in this third term.
Well, we saw a draw for Anzac Day, the men's competition within the AFL, and appreciate a fair bit of time to travel yet, but this is a wonderful contest. The state game here in WA. Both sides well and truly giving their all. South Australia's transfer of the ball has just been completely nullified. They've won a free kick on the outer side of the ground through Sophie Zul, who represents the Mighty Eagles over there in the SANFLW, the Woodville West Torrens. WA will give away a free kick here, so that's holding the ball. Good decision made there by the umpire. Cleared there by Waterford for South Australia. Straight away they've given it up. WA with some numbers around the ball. No one really prepared to pick the ball up. Floating around this contest is Pofioski. Already kicked a couple. Another name to come in there is Ferguson, been in and out of the game. It's been Helling. Getting up from the scrap of that contest was Molly O'Hare. Ball goes again to ground. South Australia haven't been clean this quarter. Went through the hands there of Moon, almost a throw. Gave it out the back there for Waterford. Waterford goes to centre half forward, or just up from the attacking 50. Great turn of pace there by Halfpenny. Pokes it around. This is a big opportunity for South Australia. Just need the ball to sit, and it does. And Cockatoo Motlap, Lakoya puts through her first major of the afternoon, and AD, it could not have come at a better time for South Australia.
Yeah, I think a lot of clubs around Australia are practicing the red time and how to protect the ball in the last couple of minutes, and I think SA's just really capitalised on getting that ball forwards and maybe catching WA, who were hoping to just slow the game down.
And Halfpenny's, again, has done that twice in the last 5 minutes, hacking the ball inside 50.
And she's backing the rest of her forward line and backing their speed, and you kind of have to trust the people around you that that's their strength. That, like, if it wasn't her, then Deshana Maher was next to her.
So approaching just the final minute and a half, third term, Optus Stadium. Matt Chechens, Dan Hobley and Adrian Davies, your callers today. It's been a fascinating contest as there's a whistle and a free kick. Going in too hard there was Waterford. So the free kick into the hands of Zippy Fish. The East Fremantle product kicks poorly. Rare for her. Straight into her opponent in Waterford. Can just step through some traffic. Goes back in for a second effort. Elects to just dribble the hand pass out. They may have turned it over. WA, what can they muster through the corridor? Contested hand pass. Going without the football there. And the goal jumper was Canane. Now they get the numbers. Can they get a late goal like they did in the second term? South Australia trying to hold on and get to that three-quarter time. That was Lutzi. Turns it over. Juggled mark will be taken by Gomes. 2 games for West Coast. Averaging 19 disposals and 3 tackles. So ball comes in the middle of the ground. A high shot. So you wouldn't expect WA will hit the scoreboard, but maybe South Australia can put some daylight on the scoreboard. What a grab. Running back with a flight under the close watchful eye of Gelmy. That is a tremendous mark from Halfpenny. 6 games for Port Adelaide. Let's have a look at this.
Huge mark.
It is.
In the concept of the game.
Second and third bite, just trapping it down, and nothing really in the end that Eliza Gelmy could do. And this virtually on the siren of three-quarter time. They led by 2 at the main break, and that kick just lacks the distance.
I think the siren may have actually
thrown her off a bit.
Thrown her off with her process going forward. Easy to say from 150 metres away, but...
No, she is a very good set shot. We do a lot of hours of kicking together, so I do think she maybe was a bit thrown. There's a lot of a louder siren at Optus Stadium than at SANFLW.
But a Halfpenny again involved in 3 significant bits of play.
Well, that actually all started with a pretty risky kick from Waffle to basically on top of Deshana Maher's head. So she sat under that knowing she was probably going to cop a hit. So it was pretty courageous from her. And then Caitlin Rosenzweig, you want the ball in her hand around that middle of the ground if you need to move fast, because she'll boot it.
Well, it's three-quarter time. We turn for home. 2024 state game here at Optus Stadium. Fix yourself a drink, buckle in, because the 4th term on the other side of this, and is South Australia clinging to a 6-point advantage. We'll be right back after these messages.
This broadcast is brought to you by Kia. Kia's getting a ute. The Kia Tasman.
Kia's getting a ute.
Yeah? What's it called?
If you want a name that really qualifies, surely the Kia Aloisi.
Keep your shirt on, John. The Kia Macca.
Hall of Famer coming through. I don't remember you kicking 1,000. The Kia Buddy.
Skull Aloisi.
Best moment of your life. Yeah, unbelievable. Have a feel of it.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
Just 20 minutes of football remain here at Optus Stadium in Perth. The Women's State game for 2024, and a historic one at that. And the table has been set for what is going to be a tremendous fourth term. Well, that team on screen, South Australia, led by 19 points. They didn't allow a score for WA in the first term. They led by 19 at quarter time, 12 at the main break, and just one goal now at the three-quarter time. And 3-2 in favour of WA. It gives them a little bit of momentum heading in. Arnott Popovsky kicking her second in the third, and Fish getting her first goal of the afternoon for WA. South Australia, some important goals for them also, with Ma and Cockatoo Motlap gives the visitors a narrow lead. Matt Chechen's in the call, joined by Dan Hobley and Adrian Davies as well. And we are set, really. Let's talk us through some of the numbers, Adrian.
Yeah, 24 disposals apiece to Jess Bates and Zippy Fish. There's a bit of a drop to the next ones. Talita Buethke on 14, Shelby Smith 13, Caitlin Wendland 13, and then Kate Orme for WA with 12.
You look at South Australia's just ability, even being dominated AD in that first half of the quarter, but the ability to go in with a lead. We spoke off air. For me, this is just my opinion. It feels like that 1-goal lead, it feels a bit more like 2 goals, and this, obviously the first goal of the last has never been more important.
Yeah, for me it's the speed that SA have shown throughout the game. A lot of, obviously, the goals over the top or goals in front that they've run onto. It's whether they can sustain that for a fourth quarter. I feel because WA was slow getting into the game, they maybe have some more run in their legs.
Is it worth rolling the dice and having Fish go to centre half forward or play half forward flank and throw Cameron in the middle for WA in just that first 2 to 3 minutes? Bit of extra body and some zip out of there for WA.
Potentially, but I feel like Zippy Fish in that third quarter was just the dominant player on the ground, and I don't know if you want to be pulling her out. Yeah.
Yep.
You want to get the ball into the forward line, and if she's not there, it's going to limit how much it is going forward.
Bates has got 24 touches, as you mentioned, but who is the most important player for South Australia, in your opinion, going into that last quarter? Who is going to put South Australia on their back?
Oh,
I know I'll set you up on this one, but you are paid the big bucks, so we need to put you under some form of pressure.
Start at the pointy end of the plane too, mind you, so you've got to earn your keep.
Yeah, that is true. I feel like a really important player is going to be Jess Bates in this quarter. Her ability to run through games and consistently step up when the game needs it. This might be where we see her best quarter of the game.
Well, I'll give you mine. I think Caitlin Wendland, her disposal with that left foot peg, which I absolutely love, and I know I've been raving on about it, but I think her just calmness around the footy, and along with Smith, I think is going to be vital for SA.
Field kicking, she'd be probably the best kick in the SA team, and that left boot probably catches people off guard because everyone just forgets that she's got that one.
So the crow-eating colleague to our right is going to be tipping South Australia. Obviously, you'll be in the WA camp.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm going to tip a draw. That way we've got
all
bases
covered. Everyone's a winner.
I think Matty's a secret South Australian anyway. I've checked his passport.
So here we go. Just 20 minutes remain. Interestingly enough, of the 11 goals kicked this afternoon, 7-4 in favour to the left of screen, which is where WA is kicking. So the ball up. First goal, to sound like Captain Cliche, is all important. Here comes Smith. Good and tight there. Comes back to her. That's over the shoulder. Umpire maybe on the wrong side of that. So WA rather fortuitous there, because the number 9 of Venning, second in the competition in South Australia for disposals, doesn't get the free kick. Here they come. Hand pass to a contest. Chance for WA to try and withstand a bit of early pressure. That ball end over end. Overrunning it there was Ma. Usually reads it so well. Spinning out of trouble. Hot hand pass in the end. Good forward pressure. It's been a feature of South Australia this afternoon. That tumbled ball still yet to be won. 2-on-1 in favour of South Australia. Hot hand pass again. Cameron's in there. She lays the heavy hand.
Great tackle. Yeah. Had to lock that up, WA. South Australia with plenty of numbers around the ball, and Cameron took it upon herself then to lock her up, AD.
Pressure from both sides in the first minute has been huge.
Absorbing contest. Ferguson floating around this ball, applies the tackle. South Australia through Jep. She'll just jump up. She's kicked a couple of goals this afternoon. Alicia Jep from the Sturt Footy Club. On all fours for Western Australia. Fish at the bottom of the pack. In fact, looks to me like it might be just waiting on that.
Yeah, holding the ball.
Holding the ball.
Yep.
And the decision has been pretty sharp. So SA should clear the ball quite comfortably to centre half forward. Following it up for South Australia was Vanning. Hasn't called a huge amount of her name. Sold her teammate Wendelin into a world hurt. Had no time to get rid of the footy. The Teague will play its part, no doubt, this last quarter. This first 5 to 10 minutes, absolutely vital for both sides. For WA, must kick a goal. For South Australia, they put one on the board. The doubt may just creep onto the shoulders of Western Australia. Wrapping it up again for South Australia, and leading from the front is their skipper there, Sam Franson. She's around this ball. Jep again. They get a free kick for in the back. Ferguson was quite ambitious with the tackle, and a little trip to go with it. Jep just makes the 15-metre pass. South Australia again through Bates, gets another possession. That's 26 for her. Gave it off there to Waterford. Waterford eventually gives up possession, and this is where South Australia will have to be very, very careful.
Well, this is where the run in the legs will come into play. If it's in open spaces, who's getting out there and chasing?
Arlop overran it, did some good things in that third term, fed out the hand pass to the tight legs there of Quaife. Has tried so hard, just needs to lock things up. South Australia, a little bit of fortune there. Didn't have the numbers around the ball, they still don't, but have been able to lock play up. The stoppage is going to arrive. Stalemate. Just left of centre, and the score reads South Australia 6-3-39, the Waffle side 5-3-33, 3.5 minutes played, final term.
Still awaiting our first score of this fourth term. South Australia, Quinn looks just for acreage on that outer side, puts it out into the path there of Rosenvik. Looks to centre, a lot of air under that footy, and the intercept mark taken by this superstar, Zippy Fish. Kick didn't travel the required distance out wide. That allowed Rosenwag to get there and close down her opponent. Putting her head over the football was Leach, and earning the free kick too. So, right half back. No players really offering anything down the line. So she might have to go for the 45-degree kick. She changed her mind at the last second. There's no one home.
I don't think WA AD are going to get it done on that side of the ground, the western side. They're going to have to roll the game back over the broadcast wing. South Australia will be extremely pleased just to have it on that far side. It's a dead part of the ground.
Yeah, the best movement that we've seen from WA has been through the middle.
So the mark is spilt there. Good pressure from Ma. Brought it down at ground level. South Australia re-enter 50. They get the mark as well. So great pressure. Hanson takes the mark and then blazes away. And a little rash in her decision-making then. Took the good mark and looked to pull the trigger early.
Yeah, it's had a rush of blood to the head twice today, Franson. And that should have been back and having a set shot, AD. As the captain, I don't want to be critical, but you got to go back and ice those moments and be the one that settles SA down. She did the opposite, play it on, and a second critical behind for her going forward.
Yeah, and it was a 3-on-1 up forward where even the SA girls needed to split and not all kind of headed to the goal square. Someone lead back at her just in case she did want to pass it off from the set shot.
Orme went through her hands to Western Australia from the kick out. Some rough and tumble happening on the outside of the Western 50.
Ma got level, but like a rubber ball, bounced straight back.
It probably was the save Western Australia, didn't it, Matty, from giving away the free kick. The versatility there of Ma. Umpire throws it up. Nice little shove in the back there by Fielder. Another inside 50 for South Australia. Off the boot there of Franson. Like her time again, you would think. Wendelin with that left foot. Gives it up. Orme again around the body. Set to task here for Leach. Leach in a battle on the outer side of the ground with Waterford, who's done some good things. Cameron overran it, picked up there by Fish, just runs all day. She's just an exceptional player. Overrun there by Ferguson. Cameron, first to the footy, just uses the body delightfully. Goes back by hand. WA stitch the possessions together and eventually get it to the half-forward flank, broadcast side of the ground. That wasn't 15 metres, so South Australia should be able to clean this up. From half-back, they go to centre wing. The kick was off target, though, and taken by Bonza on centre wing as WA look to go inside 50 yet again.
They turn it over, so South Australia back the other way. Love the game of Tashana Ma. Takes a good mark, shows a little bit of composure. Time the enemy of WA. Good sliding mark there taken by Martino. Now to Glenelg. Plays on by hand now towards Zul. Zul kicks under pressure. Well, WA didn't really communicate then. That opened the door for Sam Franson to come in and lay the tackle. Could have taken an uncontested mark. Lack of torque results in the mark being spilled. Another important stoppage for WA to negotiate. Fish with a left foot this time. Showed on both sides of the body. Good work there and tight by Lutzi. South Australia are out. Can they take another contested mark? Goal jumpers flooding back. That was over the shoulder. Umpire didn't see it. Laying the pressure there was Franson. She lays the tackle. And Bonza, 3 games of AFLW with the Eagles, says, umpire says no prior. 1 down. Just shaking through was Cockatoo. Motlap, and another handy point extends that lead back out to 8 points, 6-5 to 5-3, as we're ticking up towards halfway through this final term. Optus Stadium. Matt Chechens, Dan Hobley and Adrian Davies in coverage.
That'll worry Western Australia too, with another forward option there for South Australia, just applying that pressure, that scoreboard pressure. Lakoya, Cockatoo, Motlap. You don't want her getting involved too much either from a West Australian perspective. Cut off. This is Halfpenny, who was instrumental at the end of the 3rd term. Goes short with a kick there to Smith. Doesn't need to be heralded, does Smith, a very, very good player. WA wrap things up in defence. Deep inside attack here for SA. Western Australia up against it. Out of the pack, Smith got the hand pass. Kick forward there by Bennett under excruciating pressure. South Australia again go forward, just hacked forward there by Smith across the face of goal. WA with the numbers. Paddled forward there by Ferguson. Didn't take the ball out, so the clearing kick does come in the end. Went looking there for Leach, looking for the boundary line as Western Australia, and they get it. It rolls out the outer side of the ground, the western wing, and there will be a throw in.
No, the last touch rule, so it's going to be a turnover, yeah.
Do my homework next time with the old touch rule. It's caught me off guard today as the West Australia.
Adrian learnt that there's no 25-metre penalties today. It's all it's all happening.
We're all learning AD in life.
It's the home rules, isn't it? So next year we'll be giving away a few more frees, I think, just to get in your back.
You always learn. Leach goes forward with a kick, went looking for Arlett. WA just seemed to be a mile off from being able to get this inside 50. They go back inboard. It's in capable hands though, and Valentini shows some real risk with the kick, went looking for Cameron. Cameron won't give up possession that easily. Through came Bonza. Well, she tripped. Umpire said play on. WA again. Under the hot collar there. Cameron Ortlep had the ball momentarily, and there's a free kick being won by Cameron just in between the back of the centre square and centre half back, and she'll release for Western Australia.
So WA need to go, and they need to go quickly. That's play on. Little receding hand pass to maintain possession. South Australia kick out to a vacant wing. Bit of a foot race here. Leading the way for WA's Bennett. Can she gather? She does. And fortuitously kicks onto the chest, and they're away now, WA. Through Ferguson, inside 50. Mark couldn't be taken. South Australia stand up. That's brilliant play. Is that King in the end? I think, mate, just
King.
Dinks one over the top. That was her highlight reel of the game. WA still in possession. They kick into the corridor dangerously. Cameron busts through.
Beautiful kick.
To a one-on-one inside forward 50. How will this one sit up? Kindly in the end for Arnott. She can wheel around. Kicks to a vacant pocket. Ball still in dispute. South Australia again was out of throw. No, said the umpire. In goes Orm. Ties up the ball carrier and a chance to reset. South Australia will welcome that. but they seem to be weathering the storm. That margin, still 8 points as we've gone over the midway point of this fourth term. That doesn't travel the required distance, so it gets slapped back. Ma kicks up towards centre half back, and the intercepting mark, and another chance for WA to reload, but it's this kick that's let them down so far. That one is okay to Bonza.
Just keep an eye on Jamie Harkin. She was feeling for that left ankle the last couple of contests, so she's an important player for WA, but was having a grab at that left ankle as she jogs through the middle of the ground in the pink boots.
So South Australia bring it out. Just kicking to herself, almost rugby league style in the end is Penny. Can she regather? She just rides the bump, toes it further forward. A goal here would probably seal the fate of WA. Snap from the boundary! Just misses.
And again.
Yep.
Had 3 big opportunities. Couldn't make it work in the last. It's just evaded her all day.
We almost lost our special comments then through the front window.
Well, it's one of those things though. 1 goal away for South Australia, and AD, I can just feel her simmering over there. The excitement is building. The professionalism has been so good up to now, AD. Don't stuff it up from here.
Sanfran's a really quick player, and I think she just needed to give herself a few more steps. She had so much time.
Has been the theory though of the day, hasn't it, for France?
Yeah.
It's been the narrative. It's not being critical. She's put herself in great positions. Speaking of, here comes South Australia again. There was a contest there for Cockatoo Motlap. Went through her hands. It would have been a set shot if she was able to pull the mark in. Umpire says there's a stoppage. I'll sort it out. 48 metres from the South Australian goal. They're looking for the killer blow, so to speak. WA hanging on by a thread. We've played 13.5 minutes, final term here at Optus Stadium. Western Australia trail 5-3-33. South Australia handy lead 6-6-42. That's 9 points. And it's in the hands there of Franson, who switches it wide to Boothke. Of course, a big thank you to Kia for their support of the WAFLW state team and the WAFL state team. Kia have been driving WA footy for some years now, and their contribution to the game in WA is highly appreciated. Western Australia have the ball at half-back.
So they need to roll the dice because we're approaching red time, just inside 6 minutes, fourth term. Plenty of room to gain some meterage there. They kick up again to another contest. Good work at the back from Tiffany King. She's having a fantastic fourth term. And right on cue, wins the contested handball. That kick is clever. Cockatoo Motlap couldn't take the mark. Now they could be out here into the path of Halfpenny. She just has to keep her composure. She gets corralled, gets handed the ball. Well done there from Jelmy. Still there to be won. WA look to weather this storm. That hand pass to a flat-footed teammate gets wrapped up. We'll see how the umpire says. Letting them play. Ball's still alive, and it's eventually towed through for the minor score.
Sure, you'd love to see the West Australian teammates get across to Jelmy there, AD. Yeah. She was significant in denying South Australia the chance to kick a goal.
And this is where we see the run and who's got the legs, because if this sits nicely for WA, oof.
Good tackle on the outer side, because Arnott, as you were saying, AD, was out on that outer side, and that is a tremendous tackle in tight, because if Kanane had got on to that ball, she had Adele Arnott over the top and WA would have been out. So a whistle, a hold, and it's going the way of the visitors, is it? The umpire just doing a little bit of calisthenics out there on the outer side. So South Australia 10 points to the good as we tick up towards 4 minutes remaining. They've maintained possession and they bring the storm.
Rosenwig is in the 50 by herself. She's crept on like all professionals do. Still in space. The inside 50, she's probably going to mark this, and she does. She was by herself for pretty close to 30 seconds.
Well spotted there.
Crept on from the boundary, obviously coming off from the interchange, all above board, all in tandem.
And Dan, I think you're the only person in the stadium that actually realised that she was alone.
It's not the player that you want to be leaving free anywhere probably from 30 to 50 metres out, because she can kick this.
The Swig, as she's affectionately known.
Or the swag.
Or the swag, one of the two. Floats the ball forward and drives the knife through West Australia's heart, you would suggest. It doesn't matter how they wobble through, AD.
No, 6 points is 6 points.
6 points is 6 points. She was picked for a goal kicking, and she delivers.
She's picked as a goal kicker, but she's kicked as a bit of a leader of the forward line. She's a central, target that the ball is coming to, and she'll contest it. If she doesn't mark it, she won't let her opponent mark it. And that's been, she's come off her fingertips for a few of the run-ons that Tashana Marr and Cockatoo Motlap have had.
So the leading goal kicker last year in 2023, she's kicked 12, 15 in 24. Good for second on the goal-kicking list, but also kicked the winning goal last week as well. Kicked 3-1 against West Torrens.
She is the leading goal kicker in SANFLW history as well.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, huge amounts of experience. It's now or never for WA. South Australia just showing their class and just flexing that bit of muscle. That's probably going to be the difference. We've played 17 and a half minutes final term. Next goal, non-negotiable for WA. Here's an opportunity. An inside 50 at least. Cameron the play a part though. Broadcast half-forward flank, the eastern side of the ground. Falls into the hands there of Molly O'Hare. She's tried hard. Goes to Harkin. Probably hasn't had the game that she was probably expecting this afternoon, Harkin. She's quite highly touted over here in WA. Been pretty well looked after by South Australia's nucleus of midfielders. And again, here comes the run. You can't seem to stop it once he gets going. It's off the boot there of Button. The numbers around this ball encouraging for South Australia. Franson, although WA have fought back, and speak of the devil, Harkin has held it up for West Australia and got a critical possession. South Australia, while WA aren't scoring obviously, is really icing the game for them. Another clearing kick into the middle of Optus Stadium. What an opportunity for today's women in the state format to play on this ground. They'll take a lot out of it. Again, forward thrust here through Bates. Bates over the top, Halfpenny. I thought she was held. Good tackle in defence. Umpire doesn't want to make a decision. Fish will clear, and we'll find Bonza on a half-back flank.
So the dying embers of the state game for 2024 as we approach the final 30 seconds. Gallant effort from WA after being against it, but South Australia too much class. As Valentini, the Claremont takes the mark. Trying to hit up Cameron, who has time to allow the bounce. Kicks up towards the vacant full forward area, but no one at home as we enter the last 10 seconds. And Zul gets corralled, gets caught, no prior opportunity, and that will just about do it. So history made at Optus Stadium, and South Australia clearly the better side this afternoon. They stood up, weathered the storm. They hit WA early, 3-1-19 to no score. WA were gallant in the second and third terms, but South Australia, who were clinging to that one-goal advantage, get over the line. Final score here at Optus Stadium in Perth. South Australia 7-7-49. Run-out winners by 16 points, 5-3-33. The thoughts briefly of our special comments today, Adrian Davies.
I'm really impressed with WA's second and third quarters, just keeping in the game and not letting SA get away from it. Created a really good contest, and it's probably fitting for the first women's state game to have an ending like this.
Yep. Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think South Australia, AD, it's been great to have you along for the coverage this afternoon alongside Maddie. South Australia, for me, just showed their class. They showed their poise. I thought Franson at times was hyperactive with her distribution, but she would be absolutely wrapped with their senior players and the way they went about things. I think the winner in the end deserved it. I think WA had their moments in that first half, but really South Australia for me probably played 3.5 good quarters of footy, which gets the job done, and that's just my assessment. Doesn't mean I'm right.
No, absolutely. I thought you were about to say the winner was football, which I thought was a beautiful way to put it.
The day that I say that, the day that I say that, just kick me out the back somewhere, I think.
So the winner was SA, so we'll just repeat that one. But yeah, really nice to see the girls come together from across both competitions and just showcase where the game has got to over the last 7 or 8 years for both states.
We'll have a run through the stats as the presentations are starting to take some shape, so we'll be able to take all that in and give you an update. Jessica Bates, we spoke about her all day. Look, it was a bit of a ships in the night for me for her 34 touches, but her presence, I think, in that midfield for South Australia just makes the SA girls walk taller.
Yeah, well, I just when we saw that 34, that surprised me because she does just do her work quite quietly. Biased a bit, but Talita Boothke, I thought that was one of her best games she's played. She read the play really well and had some really important defensive moments that either created a stoppage or she came out of it with a rebound.
The fish was very and truly in the water. She got to work in that second half especially. She probably was the one that was really trying to keep West Australia in it for me. 28 touches, kicked a goal. Was everywhere for WA, but they probably needed 3 of her across the ground to get it done today.
Yeah, who gets best on ground?
Sorry, is that a situation where there's not plenty of fish in the sea?
Oh, I don't know.
There we go.
Actually, for me as well, Kate Orme, we had a...
I left that a while ago, the old plenty of fish.
I'm only new to Zippy's game, so I can get away with that. But Kate Orme had a slower start. Worked her way into the game to finish on 18 disposals and started to be really influential in getting that ball from the midfield into the 50.
And I don't think we'd be doing the game any service if we weren't going to highlight the efforts of the game of Boothke. 19 possessions, hardest name in the business, but I tell you what, she's a fine player and easily for me in the top 3 or 4 players on the ground for SA.
Oh, well, you just asked who might be best on ground. Yeah, I think Talita might be up there.
Okay. I'm going to go with Bates, but as you can have a look, South Australia getting around and tremendous fight from them throughout. As you can see, final score 7-7-49 to 5-3-33.
I'm going to go for an upset here. WA through fish to be announced best on ground.
In a losing effort.
In a losing effort. It doesn't happen all the time. But
bit of Chris Judd, Norm Smith.
Bit of 05 action. I still think I'm wiping away the tears from 05.
I think as well, Jade Halfpenny had some really important moments. She was a really good target up forward, and when it's one of those days where it didn't quite bounce her way, but she could have ended with 3 or 4 goals had the ball spoken to her.
We just wait for Carl Langdon, of course, out there from the West Coast Eagles Football Club, the former champion of the 92-94 premierships.
Congratulate both teams for the spirited performance that we've just seen unfold between the WAFLW girls and the SANFLW girls, and congratulations to the winning team. Well done for travelling across and taking the cake today. As players and coaches, we appreciate and we'd like to thank all of the umpires who did such a great job, the contingent that is standing behind me today. So put your hands together for the umpires. I'd like to call on Kate Orme, who captained our team today, to come forward for the WAFLW team to hand over the match ball to Tara Reid, a WAFLW state umpire, and thank all the umpires for their contribution that they make to the great game of Australian rules footy. Kate, if you can come forward. Want to say anything, Tara?
Just wanted to say thanks to both the teams. You all played really amazing today, and congratulations to South Australia. You did really well, killed it out there.
Good on you, and all the best, and congratulations for the job you're doing too. If I can now ask the Honourable Wayne Martin to come forward, ACKC, who is Chair of the West Australian Football Commission, to present the best player for WA today. And I can tell you that the best player today for Western Australia is Zipporah Fish, number 4. Want to say a few words?
I just want to thank all the sponsors that put the event on today. South Australia for making the trip over, and a really fought, hard-out game. And to Western Australia, we'll come back better next year.
Well done. Now, Rob Kerrin is here, who is the chair of the South Australian Football Commission, to present the South Australian player voted best on ground today. I wonder if they know who it is. I can tell you, Jessica Bates, number 16.
Obviously, thanks to the WAFL girls and the SANFLW for making this happen. I think it's a major step forward in women's sport. Thanks to the coaches and the girls, it's definitely an experience we're all going to remember. So thanks, guys.
Well done, Jess. Good job. Today marks, of course, an historic occasion for these two sides. Congratulations to all involved in growing the game, the women's game, and this great Australian game, which we all love to play. The West Australian Football Commission would like to thank and acknowledge Kia for their wonderful support of football in both states. They are major contributors to the great game of Australian rules football and are a principal partner, Kia, in the WAFLW state team. So Kia, thank you very much for your support for footy around the country. I would now like to invite the winning team to be presented with the match-winning trophy. Rob, this is your job, so if you wouldn't mind coming over, mate, again and grabbing hold of that magnificent trophy. And the captain and the coach and the team, if you want to come forward and accept your trophy. Come on, coach. I think you can hold that thing aloft, can't you, ladies? Let's see it. There we go. Who wants to do the talking?
Just want to say a big well done to both teams. We literally made history today, which is just so exciting, and the progression of women's football, and we get to see how far we've come, so well done. To the WAFL for putting this on, and getting to play at Optus Stadium is amazing. Sorry. You guys are an amazing team. Your speed and the way you move the ball is just exciting, and you really gave us a run for your money. To our sponsors, West End, for being able to get us over here is amazing, so thank you. To my team, SA, I'm so proud of you. You wouldn't know that we come from different clubs back home. We worked as a team today, and I couldn't be prouder. To the families and the coaches and the umpires, just thank you so much. We couldn't do it without you, and go SA.
Well, and again, congratulations to everybody that has been involved today. Thank you for coming along tonight, and safe journey home, ladies. Well done. Congratulations.
Well, there you have it. South Australia victorious, 7-7-49 to 5-3-33. They make history. They win the first meeting between these two. So, tremendous game to call. Thank you so much for your input, AD, and we wish you all the best in your time left here in Perth and recovering from your injury and getting back on the park for Norwood.
No, it's been great to be part of this game, and hopefully have you guys over in SA next year.
Well, we can only hope. We can only hope. Maddie and I are working on that already, but yeah, really enjoyed the broadcast this afternoon, guys. And AD, thank you for your time, and also Matt, as my fellow broadcaster. Really wonderful to bring the action. It was a great game of footy.
There you are, South Australia victorious as they celebrate. Thanks for joining us wherever you've been around the world. Matt Chechen's on behalf of